Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to do a get ready with me as well as a story time. So this story time is going to be of the time when I was 15 and I would sneak out and go to bailes. I'm sure everyone knows what a baile is, pretty much club, Mexican music, dance type of thing. So I want to just do a story time of how, I don't even know how the hell I would get in there, to be honest, but I will tell you guys how I would get in there. I would go with one of my good friends. I'm sure I can say her name. I'm sure she won't trip. So one of my good friends, Maria. I mean, there's a lot of Marias. So one of my good friends, Maria, we were like this. We were inseparable. So if you guys want to know the story and come with me and get ready. So just stay tuned for the video. And I hope you guys stay for the whole video because it is interesting, as well as don't forget to get your popcorn, your sopa maruchan, your gancitos, your tequila, your water, your wine, whatever you guys want to snack on, because hopefully this video is not too long, but I will try and make it as short as possible. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into the video. All right, so me and Maria, we've been best friends for a long time, probably for a good, I don't know, since elementary school. We are already in our 30s, so I will be 30 in August. So yeah, so we met in elementary school, kindergarten, I think first or second grade. To be honest, I can't even remember. It's been that long. So I can't remember exactly how long it has been since I've met her, but it was a long time ago. I've known her, like I said, since elementary school. So we went to elementary school together, we went to middle school together, and we went to high school together. So I'm going to tell you guys a few stories of when we would just literally ditch school. I don't know why we would ditch school, to be honest. Like, now that I think about it, like, it's so pointless, to be honest. So anyways, so whatever, we got into high school. This is way before I had my son, because I did have my son, or I did get pregnant back in October, which we were already out of high school. I got pregnant like in September, October, with my son, Freddie. So he just turned 14 actually this month. So anyway, so yeah, so my parents knew who she was, and they liked her so much because she was such a good person. I love her mom. She's like the sweetest thing ever. Pretty much, I know her whole family. I know her, nieces and sisters and cousins and everything. So we had like un grupo de amigas, which I won't say their names, but we had a, group of friends that we would all hang out. And so back in freshman, when we would ditch, usually where the high school that I went to, we were not allowed to ditch. We were not allowed to ditch, sorry. We were not allowed to leave campus because, freshmen don't really have the privilege to leave. So we had to pretty much stay. So she that had the car, we would literally just go with her, follow her, and we would like run from the security people from what's it called, from the high school. And whoever went to the school I'm talking to, everyone knew who Cookie was. Cookie was the one that would literally be in the golf cart and just pretty much patrolling and making sure your ass would not leave from that campus. So I remember Cookie being right there. She would always get in the corners because she would know like where we would like leave from. So I remember one time I was meeting up my friend Maria in the back, and I totally forgot that, I could go through the side of the school, but then for some reason Cookie wasn't in the front. But mi pinche suerte, she was in the back. And so if you guys know where the back, I mean where like the what's it called? The track would be at. For those that know what I'm talking about in the school I'm talking about. So yeah, so right now actually Cookie is I don't know if she's on life support or not, but she's very, very ill. So prayers to her. But anyways, yeah, so so she called me and she's like, Joanna, where are you going? And so when she said, I'm like, oh, nothing. And then in the back there is the adult school. So I was telling her, I'm like, oh no, I just have to turn in some papers at the adult school, for my mom. Like, she wants to learn how to learn English. She's like, okay, I'll be watching you. So as soon as she like let me go to where I was supposed to go, supposedly to the adult school in the back. So as soon as I saw that she had let me go and that she was like kind of distracted, I literally ran for my life. I freaking ran through the track, and I ran through the track and I saw her. So I thought they had locked the gate and it wasn't even locked. So what I had to do is I had to jump the damn fence and go over it, because I was scared I was going to get caught and get, in trouble, and they were going to call my parents, and, it was a whole lot big deal. So then, anyways, everything was fine or whatever. And as soon as I got in the car with Maria, like, we were just hanging around the whole day, right? The whole day. And it was on a Friday, because I can remember this day very clear. It was on a Friday, and my parents love going to the casino, so usually they would go like on a Friday. And I was telling my mom, like, oh, I want to sleep over at Maria's, because me and Maria were, the whole day we were playing, like, okay, she talked to her sister, and her sister knew people at the security and at the bailes and all that, that can help us get in. So Maria was telling her sister that, we wanted to go. However, obviously we were underage and we couldn't get in. And, our IDs obviously say that we were 15. So she was like, okay, let me see what I can do. So then the whole time I'm like, fuck, how am I going to tell my mom that if I can, go sleep over at her house, etc. And so I went and told my mom. I was like, we're just going to go, have some pizza, have some movie, and I'll sleep over. And, she can drop me back off since she does drive. So my parents were kind of like thinking about it. But however, I knew they were going to let me go, because once again, they love going to the casino and I didn't really like staying with my sisters. So she's like, okay, whatever, yeah, you could go. So then, yeah, so she's like, okay, like whatever, let's just, let her go. So they ended up letting me go. And then I told her, I'm like, hey, come and pick me up. Like, I can go. Like, they said it was okay. So when she picked me up, I had my bag of, like, my backpack. And then as soon as my mom saw me, like, she's like, ¿Qué tienes ahí? And I'm like, oh, nothing, just, clothes so I can change. And she's like, okay, well, why don't you just, change here? Like, it's already late. So she was like, why don't you change? It's already late. Like, don't go bugging people. Don't go shower nowhere, whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to literally just, shower here. I mean, not shower here. I'm literally going to change. I was like, on top of that, have clothes for Maria. I was trying to make up excuses for me to, take clothes that I was going to take to go dance. So then we go, and then my mom was like, okay, just behave. Don't be leaving. Don't, whatever, she told me like the whole 9 yards. I'm like, okay, I won't. I feel so bad. And so anyway, so we ended up going to the baile. So I don't remember. Oh, I think, yeah, Maria's mom, I think she knew that we were gonna go out because she's like, oh, I'm gonna go with my sister. She's like, no, well, what about, me? And then she's like, oh, no, like her parents let her. I don't know what kind of bullshit we told her mom. And so we ended up going. So then once her mom let us go, Maria is the one that drove. So we took Maria's car. I think it was Maria's or her sister. But her car was stick shift. And Maria had drank. No. Yeah, Maria I think had drank because I think they were like pre-gaming. And she had drank. I didn't. I wasn't much of a drinker, so I didn't drink. We were just having a good time. So as soon as we walk in there, we went in before they, like, it's a restaurant. So we went in there. If you guys don't know, you guys I'm sure know where El Rancho de Concord is. So we went there, and before they open like the dance floor, you can go ahead and go in there and eat and have, some food or whatever. So her sister was like, okay, we need to go there before they start, closing down to start dancing or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So let's go. So we went pretty early, and we got there. The security, they're like, they already knew her sister. So her sister was like, oh, okay, like, vengo con estas dos or whatever. So she's like, okay, está bien. So we went in, everything was fine. And as soon as, we started having a good time, my mom kept calling me. She's like, how were we? Whatever. So I had to literally went outside. I'm like, oh, bien, like, kind of like, oh, sí, hello. Sí, okay. Me hice la pendeja, que estaba dormida. So I was panicking. As soon as my mom called me, I was panicking. I'm like, fuck, like, I'm fucked. Like, I'm not going to be able to go out no more. I'm going to be in so much trouble. Like, oof, it was all bad. So then she was telling me, like, how was the movie? And I was like, oh, bien. I'm like, oh, ya te voy a dejar ir, because ya están todos dormidos, ya. And I think this was like at 11 in the night. I was just like, oh, I'll let you go because everyone's asleep. I will call you tomorrow when I'm on my way home. She's like, okay, te cuidas, pórtate bien, etc. Like, go to sleep already. So I'm like, okay. And so whatever, we were having a good ass time. Sorry, guys, my battery died for a moment. So anyways, I don't know where I was at, but so yeah, so my mom called me, that whatever, que me cuidara and to have a good time, and to go to sleep. Well, I was over there, con mi amiga en el pinche desmadre. So then, whatever, we were having a good time, and then I noticed that, her sister was having like a little bit too many drinks, and I know that she was having a little bit too many drinks or whatever. Because they kept buying, like the cubetas or whatever. And in my mind, I'm like, shit, how the fuck are we gonna get home, So they kept drinking, they kept getting bottles, they kept getting, parecían freaking perros que no los, que no los dejaban salir and stuff. Cause, I mean, I drank, but it wasn't like hella, and I'm like, oh shit, aprovechar right now. So anyway, so yeah, so, drinking, like one after another, and after another. And that's when I told her, I'm like, hey girl, like, when are we going to leave? Like, you guys should sober up. And so she's like, no, like, we should be fine. Like, my sister can drive. It's okay. And at the time, I knew how to drive stick shift, but I wasn't a pro like I am now. Like, I knew how, but not to the point where I can drive, because we had to go through a freeway. We had to go through freaking, like, what's it called, through like bridges and stuff. And I'm like, fuck, how the fuck am I gonna get there? And So anyways, yeah, so once I told her like, hey girl, like, you know, when are you guys gonna sober up? Like, you know, we gotta leave in a little bit. Because I think the place, did this dry? So I think the place closed, I want to say maybe like at 1, 2, to the latest. So she was like, oh no, like, you know, it should be fine. Like, she should be good to drive or whatever. And like I mentioned, like, I know how to drive stick shift, but I wasn't a pro yet at the time. And so I was like shitting bricks, y'all. Like, I'm like, how the hell are we gonna end up going to, you know, how are we gonna get home? How are we gonna go across that big old long bridge without freaking killing ourselves? So she, you know, she kept telling me like, don't worry, don't worry. And I'm the type of person that I panic for everything. So I was so anxious. I was so worried. And I'm like, fuck, you know, what are we going to do? So I remember her pulling out. She's like, oh, aquí quédense, you know, let me just pull the car out. Or you know what? I think she had someone pull out the car. And I still remember the color of the car. It was a green Honda. And I think she had like someone she knew like pull out the car or something like that. And she's like, okay, you know, vámonos. But her sister was fucked up. So we got in the car, and obviously once you go to those things, there's going to be cops. And all I remember was just like her leaving, and I just kept like looking at the road. I'm like, fuck, like I was like even looking at my phone. I'm like, okay, it's about probably like a good, back then we didn't have no GPS, no nothing like that. So in my head, I'm like, fuck, you know, it's going to be a good 30 minutes like drive from here to over there, and we have to pass like this bridge, and we have to pass another, like we had to pass I think like 2 bridges to get to where we live, well, to her house. And I remember just like praying. I'm like, shit, like this is like the end of me. Like my mom thinks I'm over there asleep at her house, and I'm over here being a fucking, you know, callejera with my friend. And I'm like, she's never gonna let me hang out with her. I think I was more worried that they were gonna let me hang out with Maria. And so at that time, I'm just like, fuck, like, what are we gonna do? Like, honestly, I didn't even want to get in the car with her sister because I was so freaking scared for my life. So I was just telling her like, no, like I don't want to. Like, how about we just get like she had, you know, her boyfriend at the time. I'm like, why don't we just call him, or to you know, to pick us up, or his brother, like, you know. On top of that, we didn't even have freaking money for the damn toll. I think it was like $3. I think we had like a card or something. And then but anyways, yeah, so she started driving, and I kid you not, literally probably like, I don't know, we got pulled over like almost going into the bridge. I want to say like, so I want to say a good like maybe 3 miles, 1 to 2 miles actually, to be honest. We got pulled over. I don't know. That's why like sometimes I swear to God, that's why I think, you know, the law of attraction does work. Because I was, you know, in my head, I'm like, okay, I hope we don't get pulled over. I hope we don't do this. You know, I hope she doesn't get a DUI. I hope she doesn't go to jail. I hope, you know, whatever. I was just like, I hope. And literally when, so anyways, as soon as she pulled over, I'm like, fuck, okay. Like, as soon as I saw the cop lights, I'm like, all right, we're fucked. Like, I'm going to be fucked because they're sisters, and I'm, you know, I'm just the chicle, you know what I mean? So they had like a backup, and I was a minor, and I was with them. So as soon as they pulled her over, I'm like, fuck, okay, well, I'm going to be fucked, that's for sure, because I'm not even related to them, and, you know, they're going to, I can't say I'm, you know, I can probably say I'm their cousin or whatever, but, so anyways, they pulled us over, and obviously the sister was driving, And this is the cop was like, okay, you know, how many beers have you had? And they're like, you two, like, are you guys related? And then I remember Maria was like, yeah, you know, I'm her sister. And I'm like, oh, I'm her friend. And then he asked us, like, have you guys been drinking? I'm like, no, I haven't, sir, you know. And then so anyways, they went to go test, you know, her sister to see, you know, how much she had in, you know, how much she had drank. And obviously, sure enough, she was very intoxicated. And the cop comes up to the window and she's like, did you guys know she was very under the influence? And I'm like, well, no, you know, we just knew that she had drank a few beers the time that we, you know, saw her. And then they're like, okay, so where did you guys go to, you know, have a good time? And so we're like, oh, we just went to a little, you know, place down. We did not say where. We just said, oh, we went to a Mexican restaurant down the street. And I'm sure they knew. But, you know, we went to a restaurant down the street. And, you know, we just had a good time. And then that's when they were like, okay, so does your mom know you're here? Do your parents know you're here? And all I can think was like, yeah, they do. Obviously, my parents didn't know, but I knew I should, my sister, you know, I was going to call my sister. So then the officer goes, okay, she told Maria, like, okay, you know, like, you can call, like, someone to pick you up. I'm sure, I can't remember, it's been so long, but I'm sure they ended up taking her sister into custody. I'm not sure, to be honest. I can't even remember if they did or didn't. But all I remember is that, so he was like, you know, you can go with them to Maria when, well, before that, let me actually not get ahead of myself. So once they pull us over, sorry, I just keep getting sidetracked. So once they pulled us over, you know, like the officer pulled, you know, her to the side or whatever. And I remember the cop telling us, you know, like I said, that if she was under the influence, whatever, we're like, you know, whatever, she had only this much from what we can remember. And so she's like, I remember the cop clearly said, you know, if you guys would have kept driving with her being intoxicated like that, you guys could have lost your lives, because she's very unconscious. She does not know what she's doing. At this point, she's seen, you know, obviously she's seen double or whatever. And stupid fly. And that's when I was like, oh, hell no. She's like, she's very intoxicated. She can't even walk straight. What makes you think she can drive you guys safely home? And, you know, I was just like, yeah. And then he asked me, he's like, so, you know, do your parents know you're here? I'm like, no. No, I was like, yeah, they do. And then, so then the officer told Maria, like, can you call someone to come and drive you guys, because you guys can't go like this, or we have to take you guys into the jail facility, not the facility, but just for, you know, to stay there till someone picks us up. And so anyway, so then she was like, yeah, I can call, you know, I don't know what she said. I think she said her boyfriend, brother, I don't know what the hell she said. So anyways, her boyfriend at the time comes, picks us up. And he was like fucking pissed. He's like, why would you guys even go with her? I think it was like him and his brother that came to pick us up. And so it was, you know what? I think it was just me and Maria. I think they did detain her sister until she got sobered up. And so at the time, her boyfriend was like, why were you out here? Like, you see, this is like, he knew she was there, but, he was like, you know, that's why I tell you, like, don't be, you know, going with people that are under the influence, because you can end up dead, whatever. So anyways, yeah, so then he ends up taking us to back home. And then his mom was waiting for us. Her mom was so freaking mad. He's like, how did you guys get home? Where's your sister? And then we're like, oh, I think Maria said, this is what I think she said. Don't quote me. But I think she literally lied and said that she was that she ended up staying at her friend's house because, she drank too much. So that we just called her boyfriend to come and pick us up because, she didn't want her sister to drive, all messed up and everything. So her mom was so mad not at us, but she was so mad. She's like, why did you guys let her stay there? And we're like, okay, well, she was drunk and we wanted to drop her off because, we didn't want her throwing a fit. So we just called him to pick us up. Because, her mom let us go, but obviously if we were going to be with her and not with anyone else. So, sorry, I got itchy. So anyways, yeah, so then that happened, and literally the next day, my mom told me, she's like, tuve un sueño que te había pasado algo, que no sé qué, and I'm like, oh no, mom, like, everything is fine. Like, literally after I hung up from talking to you, like, I fell asleep. She's like, ay, qué bien. She's like, porque yo tenía, I had a bad dream that, something happened to you. I don't know how moms, well, now that I'm a mom, like, I can right away, like, oh shit, my kid's in danger type of thing. And so I ended up literally probably like maybe a few years back, maybe like 2-3 years back, I just finally told her this story. And she's like, cabrona, like, you could have, been in danger and I wouldn't have known. You could have died. And I'm over here thinking that you were somewhere else with Maria, that you guys were, sleeping or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. So yeah, so she knew about me ditching and the times I have ditched and everything else. Obviously now, at the time, fuck no. Hell to the no. So that was one of the times. Literally, I have so many stories that I can tell you guys. I can tell you guys when I had a girlfriend, when me and my cousins would ditch school, how we got in trouble, how we got caught by the dean, the time I got into a fight and had to pay restitution for fighting. I mean, I have so much stories, y'all, that I'm like, how the hell did I do all that? Like, how? I don't get it. I regret it, but I don't regret it because that is what makes me now. Like, things that I have done in my life, I don't really regret just because it has taught me some type of, thing. So it was just so funny how things change now. Now, like, my kids don't talk about like ditching or going to parties or trying to get a fake ID or none of that. Like, they don't. It's just, times have changed. It's just so funny how at the end, my mom ended up finding out a lot of years later. Since I was motherfucking 16, I have not drank. Nothing. I feel like I partied too much when I was in high school that I don't see the point of drinking no more. I really don't. Like, for what? Maybe have a few, like, I don't even like feeling buzzed, especially with my anxiety. I don't like feeling buzzed or anything like that, so why even drink? So yeah, so my mom was kind of like, what the fuck, and there's times that I wish I could have set a better example for, especially for my niece. My nieces, one of them actually, did look up to me a lot. So I love her so much. But anyways, yeah, so pretty much that is one of the stories. Like I said, I can tell you guys about when the first time that I ever got high. I can tell you guys the first time the first time that I ever blacked out, the first time I ever fought. I can tell you guys, I got so many stories, y'all. Like I said, you let me know. And tomorrow's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all you mamas out there, especially the single mamas raising their kid, or the single daddies that are raising their kid. You know, they are an inspiration, because sometimes the mamas aren't, you know, they're not in the picture, and the daddies have to raise them and stuff. So shout out to you men. All right, so it's not gonna look like this. I am going to grab some concealer just to blend everything out. But anyways, yeah, so that is pretty much how I got into the clubs at age 15. Like I said, nowadays is not a thing, so please don't go trying to sneak into clubs, because it's not worth it, honestly. Just wait till you're 18, because then you'll have more fun and you will enjoy it more. Alright guys, so that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my story time, and I hope it wasn't too long, but I just want to give you guys a little story time while I got ready. It is Saturday, like I said, tomorrow is Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful mothers out there, to all the single daddies that are raising their kids, so they're playing the mommy and daddy part. So yeah, so with that being said, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.